quiet of the morning, when the world is still asleep, I hear a gentle whisper calling out to me. In the midst of all my doubts, when the path is hard to see, I know your voice is guiding, leading faithfully. Keep listening, keep listening to the whispers of your love. In the silence, in the chaos, your voice is more than enough. Keep listening, keep listening to the whispers of your grace. In the darkness, in the light, your truth will lead the way. When the shadows fall around me and my heart is filled with fear, I will trust in your promise, knowing you are near. Every step along this journey, every trial I must face, I will listen for your whisper, feel your warm embrace. Keep listening, keep listening to the whispers of your love. In the silence, in the chaos, your voice is more than enough. Keep listening, keep listening to the whispers of your grace. In the darkness, in the light, your truth will lead the way. Even when the road is long and the night is cold and dark, I will hold on to your promise, keep your word within my heart. For I know you are my shepherd, guiding me with gentle care. I will follow where you lead me, find my refuge in your prayer. Keep listening, keep listening to the whispers of your love. In the silence, in the chaos, your voice is more than enough. Keep listening, keep listening, keep listening to the whispers of your grace. In the darkness, in the light, your truth will lead the way away. Keep listening, keep listening to the whispers of your love. In the silence, in the chaos, your voice is more than enough.
Nestled amid rolling hills and whispering willows, Harmony Springs lived up to its name. The town was a tapestry of vibrant colors in the fall. Crimson and gold leaves danced on the breeze. The air was crisp and cool. The scent of wood smoke from nearby fireplaces filled the air, a comforting aroma that whispered of cozy evenings and warm hearths. The heart of Harmony Springs was its people. They were a close-knit community, their lives intertwined like the threads of a well-worn quilt. Many gathered for Sunday service at the old Pentecostal church, their voices blending in songs of praise and thanksgiving. They supported each other through thick and thin, offering a helping hand and a listening ear. Life in Harmony Springs moved at a slower pace, a welcome respite from the hustle and bustle of the outside world. Days were filled with simple pleasures, the laughter of children playing in the park, the aroma of freshly baked bread wafting from the local bakery, the quiet conversations shared over steaming mugs of coffee at the Harmony Springs Diner. Harmony Springs was a place where time seemed to stand still, a place where tradition reigned supreme and secrets whispered through the generations. It was a town where everyone knew their neighbor, and most importantly, their neighbor's business. Emma Lawson was a cherished part of the Harmony Springs community. With her warm smile and kind eyes, she had a way of making everyone feel seen and valued. Her faith was the cornerstone of her life, a beacon of light that guided her through both joyous celebrations and challenging trials. Emma found solace and strength in her relationship with God, her heart overflowing with gratitude for His faithfulness and love. Emma's days were filled with purpose. As the town librarian, she was surrounded by the comforting scent of old books and the hushed whispers of turning pages. She loved her work, finding joy in connecting people with the written word and fostering a love of reading in young minds. Evenings were often spent at Harmony Springs Church, where Emma was an active member. She sang in the choir, her voice blending harmoniously with the other members. She volunteered in the church's outreach programs, extending a helping hand to those in need. Emma found solace in her faith. Every morning she started her day with prayer, seeking guidance and strength for the day ahead. Her faith was her anchor, grounding her in the middle of life's uncertainties. One crisp autumn morning, as the sun cast long shadows across Harmony Springs, Emma knelt beside her bed, her hands clasped in prayer. A sense of peace washed over her as she poured out her heart to God, her words soft and sincere. She prayed for her family, her friends, and for the well-being of her beloved town. As Emma reached the end of her prayer, a profound stillness settled over the room. It was in that quiet space, where the noise of the world faded away, that she heard it. A soft whisper, barely audible yet impossible to ignore. The words were faint, like the rustling of leaves in a gentle breeze, yet they seemed to echo in the depths of her soul. "Keep listening," the whisper urged, its tone both soothing and insistent. Emma's breath hitched in her chest. Had she imagined it? Or was it something more? A message from beyond her understanding? A shiver ran down Emma's spine. She couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. The whisper lingered in the air, a subtle, unsettling presence that left her feeling uneasy. Days turned into nights, and still the whisper lingered in the back of Emma's mind. She tried to dismiss it as a figment of her imagination, a trick of the mind. But the words, "keep listening," echoed with an unsettling persistence, like a pebble dropped into the stillness of a pond, creating ripples that disturbed the calm surface. Emma continued her daily routines, seeking solace in the familiar rhythms of her life. She immersed herself in her work at the library, the comforting scent of old books and the gentle murmur of turning pages a balm to her troubled soul. She sought guidance and reassurance in prayer, her whispers a mix of gratitude, confusion, and a growing sense of apprehension. Yet a seed of unease had been planted within her, a subtle shift in her spirit. The world around her seemed both familiar and strange, as if a veil had been lifted, revealing a hidden layer of complexity beneath the surface of everyday life. The whisper had awakened something within her, a heightened awareness, a sense that things were not as they seemed. As the days passed, Emma found herself paying closer attention to her surroundings, noticing subtle details she had never noticed before. A fleeting shadow in a window, a hushed conversation overheard in the bakery, a sense of unease in a familiar face. The whisper had planted a seed of doubt, and it was beginning to grow. The annual Harmony Springs picnic was fast approaching, a beloved town tradition that brought the community together in a celebration of autumn's bounty. The air buzzed with anticipation as families prepared their picnic baskets, children practiced their sack race strategies, and the tantalizing aroma of apple pies filled the air. Emma, despite the unsettling whisper that lingered in her thoughts, found herself caught up in the excitement. The picnic was a cherished event, a chance to connect with her neighbors, share laughter and stories, and create lasting memories. She spent the days leading up to the picnic baking her famous blueberry muffins, her kitchen filled with the comforting scents of cinnamon, nutmeg, and vanilla. The day of the picnic dawned bright and clear, the sky a brilliant blue canvas above the vibrant tapestry of autumn leaves. Families gathered in the town square, their laughter and chatter filling the air with a sense of joy and camaraderie. Children darted between picnic blankets, their faces flushed with excitement. Emma, her picnic basket laden with treats, made her way through the crowd, her heart warmed by the sight of her community coming together. She greeted her friends and neighbors with a smile, her inner turmoil momentarily forgotten in the shared joy of the occasion. As the festivities continued, Emma found herself drawn to the edge of the crowd, seeking a moment of respite from the lively atmosphere. She wandered towards a grove of ancient oak trees, their branches reaching towards the sky like gnarled fingers. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, creating a soothing symphony of whispers. Emma closed her eyes, breathing deeply the crisp autumn air. The scent of pine needles and damp earth filled her senses, grounding her in the present moment. As she stood there, surrounded by the beauty of nature, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She opened her eyes, her gaze sweeping across the clearing. The other picnickers were a flurry of activity, their laughter and chatter carrying on the breeze. No one seemed to notice her standing there, alone beneath the trees. And yet, the feeling persisted. A prickling sensation on the back of her neck, a subtle shift in the air, as if someone or something was watching her from the shadows. And then she heard it again. The whisper, faint but unmistakable, carried on the wind through the trees. "Keep listening, Emma. Time is running out." The whisper, ominous and persistent, lingered in Emma's mind long after the last picnic basket had been packed away. The unsettling feeling that something was amiss cast a shadow over her usually sunny disposition. She tried to shake off the unease, to reason with herself. Harmony Springs was a place of peace and tranquility, a town where everyone knew their neighbor and doors were left unlocked. Surely her imagination was getting the best of her. The following morning, however, a chill settled over Harmony Springs, a stark contrast to the golden hues of autumn that painted the trees. News spread like wildfire through the normally peaceful town. Mrs. Evelyn Harper was missing. Evelyn, with her warm smile, twinkling eyes, and infectious laugh, was a beloved fixture in the community. Emma, her heart pounding in her chest, listened as Sarah, her eyes wide with worry, recounted the details. Evelyn hadn't shown up for her usual morning coffee clutch at the diner, an unheard-of occurrence for the woman who was as regular as clockwork. Her neighbors had gone to check on her, only to find her house empty, her bed neatly made, a half-finished cup of tea growing cold on the kitchen table. A wave of nausea washed over Emma. Evelyn's disappearance was more than just a missing person case. It felt like a violation, a rip in the fabric of their close-knit community. The whisper, once a subtle unease, now screamed in her ears, its urgency impossible to ignore. "Keep listening, Emma. Time is running out." As the hours turned into days and the search for Evelyn Harper intensified, an uneasiness settled over Harmony Springs. The townspeople, accustomed to the predictable rhythms of their lives, were shaken to their core. Fear, like a creeping vine, began to wind its way through the hearts of even the most stoic residents. The initial shock and disbelief gave way to a flurry of activity as the community rallied together to search for their missing friend. Search parties combed the surrounding woods, their flashlights cutting through the darkness, their voices calling out Evelyn's name into the night. Flyers with Evelyn's picture and a description of her disappearance were posted on every available surface. The Harmony Springs Diner, usually a hubbub of activity and friendly banter, became a makeshift command center. Coffee flowed freely, fueling the volunteers who worked tirelessly to distribute flyers, organize search efforts, and offer support to one another. Yet despite their best efforts, days turned into nights, and still there was no sign of Evelyn Harper. As each hour passed, hope began to dwindle, replaced by a gnawing sadness. Whispers, no longer subtle, spread through the town like wildfire. Had Evelyn simply wandered off, her memory failing her? Or was there something more sinister at play? The very thought sent shivers down Emma's spine. The whisper, once a nagging voice in the back of her mind, now felt like a chilling prophecy. The disappearance of Evelyn Harper cast a long shadow over Harmony Springs, testing the fabric of their close-knit community. The once peaceful town, known for its unwavering faith and unshakable unity, found itself grappling with a darkness it had never known before. Fear, like a virus, spread from person to person, infecting their thoughts, their conversations, their very dreams. Emma, her heart heavy with worry, observed the transformation of her beloved town with growing concern. The usual warmth and friendship that permeated their interactions seemed to have dimmed, replaced by a palpable tension that hung in the air like a thick fog. Conversations were laced with suspicion and doubt, as neighbors who had once shared laughter and gossip now eyed each other with a mixture of fear and distrust. The weight of the unknown pressed down on Emma, threatening to crush her spirit. The whisper, once a source of unease, now felt like a lifeline, a desperate plea for her to uncover the truth. She knew deep down that she couldn't ignore it any longer. Evelyn Harper was missing, and something told her that the answers lay hidden beneath the surface of their seemingly idyllic town. The weight of responsibility settled heavily on Emma's shoulders. She had always been a woman of faith, finding solace and guidance in her relationship with God. But now, faced with the very real possibility that darkness had infiltrated their midst, she couldn't help but question everything she thought she knew. Was her faith strong enough to withstand this test? Was she brave enough to confront the shadows that threatened to consume their town? The whisper echoed in her ears, urging her forward, demanding her attention. "Keep listening, Emma. The truth was waiting to be found." The library was unusually quiet that afternoon. The usual murmur of turning pages and the soft clinking of teacups replaced by an unsettling stillness. Emma, her thoughts consumed by Evelyn's wandered aimlessly through the stacks, her fingers trailing along the spines of the books, as if seeking solace in their familiar presence. She paused. Her gaze fell upon a worn, leather-bound volume tucked away on a dusty shelf. Intrigued, she pulled the book from its resting place. Her fingers traced the faded gold lettering on its spine. History of Harmony Springs. As she opened the book, a musty scent wafted up, a reminder of time past and stories untold. She flipped through the brittle pages. Her eyes scanned the text, searching for anything that might shed light on Evelyn's disappearance or the unsettling whispers that plagued her thoughts. And then she saw it. A small yellowed envelope tucked between the pages. Her heart skipped a beat as she carefully removed the envelope, her fingers trembling slightly. The paper was thin and brittle. The ink faded with time. In elegant cursive script, a name was scrawled across the front. "To the Keeper of Secrets." A shiver ran down Emma's spine. She knew with a certainty that defied logic that she had stumbled upon something significant, something that might hold the key to unraveling the mystery that gripped their town. With bated breath, she carefully opened the envelope, her eyes widening as she unfolded the letter within. It was dated 50 years prior, signed simply, "A Friend." The words swam before Emma's eyes as she read the letter, each sentence sending a fresh wave of shock and disbelief through her. It spoke of a secret society operating within the heart of Harmony Springs, their true purpose shrouded in mystery. The letter hinted at a darkness that lay beneath the surface of their idyllic town, a darkness that had touched the lives of generations past. Emma's mind raced as she tried to process the implications of the letter. Could this secret society be connected to Evelyn's disappearance? Were they the source of the unsettling whispers that haunted her thoughts? She knew she needed help, someone to confide in, someone who could help her make sense of this startling revelation. Gathering her courage, Emma made her way to Pastor David's office at the church. Pastor David, with his kind eyes and gentle demeanor, had always been a source of comfort and guidance for Emma. She knew she could trust him with this secret, this burden that weighed heavily on her heart. Pastor David listened intently as Emma, her voice trembling slightly, recounted the events of the past few days. The whispers, Evelyn's disappearance, the discovery of the letter. When she finished, a heavy silence filled the room. Pastor David, his brow furrowed in thought, reached out and gently placed his hand over hers. "Emma," he began, his voice a calming presence in the midst of her turmoil. "God works in mysterious ways. He often uses the most unexpected events to reveal his plan. Trust that he is guiding you, even in the midst of this darkness." News of Evelyn's disappearance spread beyond the borders of Harmony Springs, reaching the nearby city and prompting the arrival of Detective Mark Reynolds. Mark, a seasoned detective with a reputation for solving even the most perplexing cases, approached the case with a mixture of skepticism and determination. He had seen enough darkness in his years on the force to know that even the most idyllic towns held secrets best left buried. Mark's arrival in Harmony Springs was met with a mixture of hope and apprehension. The townspeople, desperate for answers, clung to the hope that this outsider, with his sharp mind and unwavering focus, might be the key to unraveling the mystery that gripped their town. Yet there were those who viewed Mark with suspicion, their faces etched with a weariness born of years spent guarding their town's secrets. Emma, her curiosity piqued, watched as Mark went about his investigation, his every move observed by the watchful eyes of the townspeople. He questioned Evelyn's neighbors, meticulously documenting their accounts of her last known whereabouts. He examined the scene at her house, searching for any clue, any trace of evidence that might lead him to her. As days turned into nights and the investigation yielded no significant leads, Mark found himself drawn to the town library, hoping to find something, anything that might shed light on the case. He had a feeling, a hunch that the answers he sought lay hidden somewhere within the pages of the town's history. Emma was organizing a shelf of books when Mark entered the library, his presence casting a long shadow across the room. She observed him as he approached the counter, his gaze sweeping across the shelves of books, his expression unreadable. "Excuse me," he began, his voice a gruff baritone that hinted at a weariness beyond his years. "I'm Detective Reynolds. I'm investigating the disappearance of Evelyn Harper." Emma, her heart pounding in her chest, met his gaze. She had been expecting this, dreading this moment. She knew she couldn't keep the letter a secret any longer, not if there was a chance it could help find Evelyn. "Detective Reynolds," she began, her voice a shaky whisper. "I think I might have something that could help with your investigation." Mark raised an eyebrow, a flicker of curiosity crossing his features. "And what would that be?" he asked, his tone skeptical yet intrigued. Emma, her hands trembling slightly, retrieved the letter from her bag and handed it to him. "I found this tucked away in a book about the history of Harmony Springs," she explained, her voice gaining confidence with each word. "It mentions a secret society operating in the town. I have a feeling it might be connected to Evelyn's disappearance." Mark took the letter from her, his eyes scanning the faded script. As he read, a look of surprise crossed his face, followed by a glimmer of something akin to excitement. He looked up at Emma, a newfound respect in his gaze. "This could be important," he said, his voice low and serious. "Thank you, Miss Lawson," Emma supplied, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and hope. "Emma Lawson," Mark nodded, a rare smile gracing his lips. "Well, Miss Lawson," he said, "it seems we have a mystery to solve." Armed with the letter and a growing sense of urgency, Emma and Detective Reynolds decided to visit Evelyn Harper's house once more. The house, perched on a hill overlooking the town, had always been a place of warmth and laughter, But now it stood silent, shrouded in an eerie stillness. Emma couldn't shake the feeling that the answers they sought lay hidden somewhere within its walls. As they stepped inside, the scent of lavender and chamomile, Evelyn's favorite tea blend, still lingered in the air, a poignant reminder of the woman who had brought so much joy to their community. Mark, his gaze sharp and methodical, began to examine the living room, his fingers tracing the dusty surfaces, his eyes searching for any detail that might have been overlooked. Emma, her heart pounding in her chest, found herself drawn to a bookshelf lining one of the walls. She ran her fingers along the spines, her eyes scanning the titles, a mixture of classic literature and cozy mysteries. Evelyn's favorites. As her fingers brushed against one particular volume, she felt a slight resistance, a subtle shift in its weight. She pulled the book from the shelf, her eyes widening as a hidden mechanism clicked open, revealing a small key-shaped indentation. "Detective Reynolds," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the pounding of her heart. "I think I found something." The discovery of the hidden keyhole sent a jolt of adrenaline through Emma, her senses heightened, her mind racing with possibilities. The whisper, once a subtle nudge, now roared in her ears, urging her forward, confirming that she was on the right track. "Keep listening, Emma," it seemed to say. "The truth is within reach." Mark, his skepticism momentarily forgotten, produced a small flashlight from his coat pocket and aimed it into the recess. The beam illuminated a delicate silver key, its surface tarnished with time but its shape unmistakable. He carefully retrieved the key, his fingers brushing against Emma's, sending a shiver down her spine. Together, their movements in sync, they searched the bookshelf for a corresponding lock. Their fingers danced across the polished wood, their eyes scanning every inch of the surface, their breaths catching in unison as they discovered a small, almost imperceptible keyhole concealed beneath a decorative carving. Mark inserted the key, the metal clicking softly as it turned in the lock. A section of the bookshelf swung inward, revealing a narrow doorway hidden behind the wall of books. Emma's heart pounded in her chest, a mixture of fear and exhilaration coursing through her veins. What secrets lay hidden beyond that threshold? What answers awaited them in the darkness? The hidden room was small and dusty, lit by a single flickering light bulb that cast long shadows across the cluttered space. Stacks of old photographs and journals lined the shelves, their leather covers cracked with age, their pages yellowed with time. A musty scent hung in the air, a blend of old paper, dried ink, and forgotten memories. Emma and Mark exchanged a look, a silent acknowledgement of the weight of the moment. They had stumbled upon a treasure trove of secrets, a glimpse into the hidden history of Harmony Springs. They moved cautiously through the room, their fingers trailing along the dusty surfaces, their eyes scanning the faded photographs and handwritten notes. As they delved deeper into the room's contents, they began to piece together fragments of a story, a tale of love, loss and betrayal that stretched back generations. They found letters, their words filled with both passion and despair, hinting at a forbidden romance, a scandal that had rocked the foundations of Harmony Springs. One name appeared repeatedly in the journals and letters: Mr. Harold Whitaker, a retired teacher who had once been a pillar of the Harmony Springs community. According to the entries, Mr. Whitaker had been a close confidant of Evelyn's family, privy to their deepest secrets and their most painful memories. The mention of Mr. Whitaker sent a jolt of recognition through Emma. She had heard stories about the retired teacher, whispers of a kind and gentle man who had dedicated his life to shaping young minds. He had been a beloved figure in Harmony Springs, his wisdom and compassion sought after by all who knew him. But after his wife's untimely death, Mr. Whitaker had become reclusive, withdrawing from the community that had once embraced him. He lived alone in a rambling Victorian house on the outskirts of town, his only companions the memories that haunted him and the secrets he guarded closely. Emma and Mark knew they had to speak to Mr. Whitaker. He was their only link to the past, the only one who could shed light on the secrets hidden within Evelyn Harper's hidden room. As they left the house, the weight of their discovery heavy on their shoulders, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that they were stepping into a past that was far more complex and dangerous than they could have imagined. The whisper, now a constant companion, urged them forward, its tone a mixture of urgency and warning. Time is running out, it seemed to say. The truth is closer than you think, but so is the danger. The drive to Mr. Whittaker's house was filled with a tense silence, broken only by the hum of the engine and the rustle of the wind through the trees. Emma gripped the leather of her handbag, her knuckles white with anticipation. The whisper had grown stronger, a constant presence urging her forward. It spoke of hidden truths and long-buried secrets, its tone a mixture of urgency and warning. As they approached the outskirts of town, the landscape transformed, the well-maintained homes and manicured lawns giving way to overgrown fields and dilapidated barns. A sense of melancholy settled over Emma, a reminder of time's relentless march and the impermanence of all things. The whisper seemed to echo this sentiment, carrying with it the weight of generations past. Mr. Whittaker's house loomed before them, a once grand Victorian mansion now shrouded in an air of neglect and decay. The paint peeled from its clapboard siding, the windows were dark and hollow, and the porch sagged precariously beneath a tangle of dead vines. It was a house that seemed to hold its breath, guarding the secrets whispered within its walls. As they stepped out of the car, a gust of wind whipped through the trees, sending a shiver down Emma's spine. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, a reminder of the cycle of life and death, of secrets buried and waiting to be unearthed. The whisper intensified, urging Emma toward the house, toward the truth that lay hidden within. Mr. Whittaker greeted them at the door, his frail frame stooped with age, his eyes clouded with a lifetime of memories. He led them into his dimly lit parlor, the air thick with the scent of dust and decay. Faded floral wallpaper peeled from the walls, and threadbare velvet curtains hung limply at the windows, barely concealing the encroaching darkness. Emma watched as Mark carefully explained their reason for visiting, his tone respectful yet firm. He spoke of Evelyn's disappearance, of the hidden room, of the letter that had led them to this moment. Mr. Whittaker listened intently, his gaze fixed on some distant point beyond the walls of the room. When Mark mentioned the secret society, a flicker of recognition crossed Mr. Whittaker's face. He reached for a worn leather-bound book lying on the table beside him, its pages filled with faded ink and brittle with age. "I had a feeling this day would come," he said, his voice a raspy whisper, barely audible above the ticking of an antique clock on the mantelpiece. He opened the book, his gnarled finger tracing the faded script. "This," he said, his voice gaining strength, "is the history of Harmony Springs, a history that runs far deeper than most people know." Mr. Whittaker's words washed over Emma, each sentence a revelation, a piece of the puzzle falling into place. He spoke of a group of townspeople, bound by a shared secret, their actions hidden beneath a veneer of respectability. He spoke of rituals and ceremonies, of ancient beliefs and forbidden knowledge. He spoke of Evelyn's family, their connection to the secret society, their role in guarding its secrets. He spoke of Evelyn herself, her unwavering determination to expose the truth, her belief that the darkness that had plagued their town for generations could be overcome. And then, with a trembling hand, Mr. Whittaker pointed to a passage in the book, a passage that sent a chill down Emma's spine. It described an abandoned church hidden deep in the woods surrounding Harmony Springs, a place where the secret society held their clandestine meetings. "This is where you'll find your answers," Mr. Whittaker said, his voice weak but steady, his gaze fixed on Emma's. "This is where the truth has been hidden for far too long." The revelation of the abandoned church, a tangible symbol of the secret society's grip on Harmony Springs, sent a wave of determination through Emma. She knew with unwavering certainty that this was where she would find Evelyn, where the truth would be revealed, and where the cycle of darkness that had plagued their town for generations would finally be broken. The journey to the abandoned church was fraught with tension, the weight of their mission pressing down on Emma and Detective Reynolds. The whisper, now a constant companion, seemed to echo through the trees, urging them forward, guiding their every step. As they approached the clearing where the church stood, shrouded in the shadows of ancient oaks, a profound stillness settled over the woods. The events that unfolded within the walls of the abandoned church were a blur of adrenaline and emotion. The confrontation with the secret society, the discovery of Evelyn, weak but alive, the unraveling of decades of secrets. It was a night that would forever be etched in Emma's memory. As the dust settled and the truth emerged from the shadows, a sense of relief washed over Harmony Springs, a collective sigh of release from the grip of fear and uncertainty. The town, once divided by suspicion and doubt, came together to celebrate the return of Harper and to begin the process of healing. In the aftermath of the secret society's exposure, life in Harmony Springs gradually returned to a semblance of normalcy. The leaves turned from vibrant hues of gold and crimson to muted browns, signaling the arrival of winter and a time for reflection. The whispers that had guided Emma through the darkness faded into silence, their purpose fulfilled. Evelyn Harper, her spirit unbroken, slowly regained her strength, surrounded by the love and support of the community that had rallied around her. The secret society, its power shattered, dissipated into the shadows, its members held accountable for their actions. Emma Lawson, her faith tested but not broken, emerged from the ordeal with a newfound sense of purpose. The whispers may have faded, but their message remained etched on her heart. Keep listening. She knew that life would always hold its share of challenges, its moments of darkness and doubt, but she also knew that she would never face them alone. She had learned to listen to the whispers of her heart, to the Holy Spirit, and to have faith in the unseen hand that guided her steps. And she knew with unwavering certainty that as long as she kept listening, as long as she kept her heart open to the whispers of hope and love, she would find her way through any storm. This video is a summary of the new novel, soon to be released by David Erickson, Keep Listening, which also inspired a theme song with the same title, Keep Listening.